we have 5 minutes. Sister has another question.
What should we look for?
What's the qualification you mean?
It's a really easy answer. They say 95% of what you learn is through experience. It's experience. So I would, if I was looking for like ICOI, the community I'm with, I'm pushing a youth director. And so I look at it and I'm telling them, you need to find someone that has experience in youth work. That has an education, has an Islamic education, that has, university education, but also has experience in youth work. Because it's not theoretical. A lot of the times what books will teach you is very theoretical, but a lot of times when you're dealing with people, it's not the same as what you learn in the books. So I think in any community, as you're looking for someone as a full-time employee, is to say, okay, what kind of experience does he have in dealing with youth work and how to deal with people? Because a lot of the times you can volunteer, or someone's a youth director but doesn't have experience, they can actually do more harm than benefit. We have people that come in and would volunteer sometimes, and their assent is very weak. And instead of helping, they're judging kids and they're being mean to them. You're not, you're just hurting us. People are going to run far away from you. I remember what my sheikh once told me about the companion, the Bedouin that came into the masjid and he urinated, and how the companions were trying to rush him out. The Prophet ﷺ was very gentle to him. And he gave me an example. It's almost like a cat. If you run after a cat, what will the cat do? The cat will run. And if you take the string to the cat will run to you. So when you're looking for a youth director, you want him to have a string of mercy to the kids. The activities, the fun activities, knows what's going on, so he can gravitate towards them. Wallah, if you're serious about having someone, I know quite a number of people. I have one of the youth kids at our masjid, he's studying in Medina. I have one that just got accepted in Malaysia. I have another one that's going to Bayana, which is Nomade Khan in Dallas. There's a lot of people that I know, so if you guys are very serious, I can help you in that process. So may Allah make it easy. I think he was asking a question too.
Yeah.
And I feel that we give all to the sisters.
Okay, we'll listen.
Yeah. Brother Ahmed. First question, common question. My son, 15 years old, he always hooks up to his phone.
Yeah.
For everything.
Yeah.
I tried to get him out of his phone, for studying for either school or reading Quran, whatever. It's very hard to disconnect him from his phone. The other side of the question is he goes to the masjid all the time, alhamdulillah, and attend everything. But instead of praying, he play with his friend, like basketball or something. And he does not attend any lecture. You take him there, he's physically there, but he's playing with his friends. And for the salah also, if I bring him physically in my hand to pray with me, he won't pray by himself. So what do you think? What
Okay,
can
so
do?
this literally just happened. So my brother-in-law is in 8th grade. And so my mother-in-law loves him so much, she tells him, you have to go with Ahmed to the youth program. And so I take him in the car, and it looks like he looks very depressed. And the only time he's happy is when we leave the masjid. My mom's best dish is maqluba, right? I love maqluba, right? But maqluba is not good if you shove it in my mouth. Islam is awesome. Islam is beautiful. But Islam is not beautiful if you shove it in someone's mouth. People do not like to be forced to do things. So I would say my recommendation is as they get older, it's more difficult. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's difficult. When they're 8, alhamdulillah, there's a lot to work with.
Yeah.
But you said he's 16.
Yeah, he was attending since he was a kid.
He was a kid.
But
At this point, you said something interesting.
especially recently, he wasn't like that before.
He's obsessed with his phone.
Yeah.
Okay,
He
that's
wasn't
not.
like that before, but now.
I would say 2 things. Make sure there's no passcode on the phone.
Okay.
That he has, it's just not he can't put his passcode because you don't know what people are doing on their phone. So the rule is, if you have a phone in my household, that sometimes you can be tough. You're the parent. Say there's no passcode. I should have access to your phone anytime. As a parent, you should know that. But at the same time, he loves his phone. That might be a good medium for you. To say, okay, do you want a better phone? listen, do me a favor. Me and you are going to go to the masjid together. I won't force you, but let's go to the masjid together and let's pray. And if I feel that, like, let's do a test. And this month, if you're able to hit up all your salah at the masjid, try to get the first line, maybe we'll consider buying you another phone. Right? You're using that tool. Now you might think to me that's, that's bribery, what are you doing? Again, Allah made us to really enjoy worship. Right? I prayed Fajr here, I prayed the last. I felt great. After Salah, I felt really good. Allah, I guarantee you, when an individual prays, he feels good about it. So that's maybe a sense of encouragement to do that. I once did, I did an bad competition with the kids. So we did the thing that we said, if you fast a day, you get 30 points. We did a month contest. You fast one day, you get 30 points. If you pray also, you get 20 points. And I said this, I said after the end of the month, we did about 10 different things. And at the end of the month, whoever can beat me, I will give them $200. And whoever's the highest, I'll give them 100. Right? This is actually a beautiful story. Someone beat me. I gave him $200. And then I went to the mass convention, and I won the raffle for $200. SubhanAllah. I remember talking to the sheikh about that. And he said, don't you feel that you're bribing the kids or forcing them to do this? And then SubhanAllah, he corrected himself right away. He says, the way people, they'll enter Jannah in chains. They weren't looking for it. They were avoiding it. But someone helped use their minds to help them, to assist them to do worship. So that's a suggestion. I'm telling you guys, the older they become, the more difficult it becomes. So just make dua, and I would say use that mode of a phone to help him to say, I'll give you the success if you show me the next month what you can do.
Just want to add something since we're talking about the phone. As a parent, I have very much like a similar issue in my life. But sometimes we parents, we have to lead by example.
Yes.
So what I did with my son, before I tell him, hey, I want to know what's your password on my phone, I let everybody in the house know what my password on my phone is. The same thing with my wife, okay? And what I'm doing, habit now of doing, when I get home after work, I put my phone away, okay? And then when I tell them, okay guys, 8 o'clock, you gotta give up your phones, they're all listen, because they see me, I'm not my phone. So,
You can even do it, say like 8 o'clock, 8 to 9, or 7 to 8. No phones.
Range, yeah.
Everyone get their phones, put it on the table. We're gonna talk. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no time to say a story about this, but very short story. A grandma, when her grandkids come to visit her, she said, if you guys want to visit me, in this basket you leave your phone. You don't touch your phone until you leave here. So we have a quality time here. Otherwise, don't come and visit me. And they listen and they have a good time and they learn from their grandmother, a lot. Brother Mahmoud has something and Brother Muhammad has something. So
you read about the issue of drugs in the youth. Out of your experience, do you think our centers or the leaders of the centers or our sheikhs, do they have the idea or understanding or the knowledge or the skills to communicate with this youth as to how to reach them and how these kids going on through this kind of stage? Because I could see it in many centers, few that I know, there is a gap between the leadership and the sheikh and the skill and the youth by themselves, and there is no communication. And then the feeling that says the youth, we know better than you guys. This is your way of thinking and this is your way of thinking, and there is no any ground between us. Based on that kind of approach, why did you ask that question to Sheikh Hamdy, and what was your point of asking him and what you were trying to get from? Did you get the answer from him that you were expecting, or you were getting something different in relation to that?
What I try to push with every community that I talk to is the urgency of hiring a youth director. It's not a question now, are you losing your youth? You are losing your youth. Okay, when Allah gave Shaitan the end of the day of judgment, that he's going to live, that just shows you Balta is going to exist. And there's so much I can say right now, but I just, there's too much, is that I worked for marketing companies. So, like for instance, I do a lot of packaging, right? And I went to a company that does printing. And so when you go buy like Coke or whatever, they do a lot of printings for these subjects. Okay. One time I went to this printing company and inside there was like a vault, which is a beautiful printer. And we say it's like the printer at your house multiplied by 1,000. It's beautiful, and the printing facility for this area was clean. And I'm like, what do you print here? He's like, this is where we print for cigarettes and alcohol. So when it comes to Shaitan has no budget. To mislead your kids, there's no budget. We're gonna market to your kids to the best of our ability to misguide them. Did you ever notice how in the 30s and 40s, I Love Lucy, Ricky and Lucy didn't have separate beds? You watch Modern Family, everyone's gay. They're making it. My whole thing is, it's a point right now that we really need to combat Shaitan and his enemies and have someone to really gear on youth. And my old community, I just told you all the highlights. It was hard. At one time, the president of the masjid told me I can't teach anymore. And 3 months later, Ahmed, I was able to come back in. It wasn't easy. The best leaders in shuyukh, the best are the ones that get down and dirty that come and work with the youth. Any imam, and I don't know this community, but we've had a sheikh that says, I can't teach young kids. This is something that's fundamentally wrong. It's an honor to teach kids. It's not something to be degraded about. And if you want real change, it's through the kids. So for me, I would encourage, I don't know your community, and I'm sure it's awesome, because I've seen good things, but it's always good for the leadership to go and talk to youth. I remember one time I talked to the president of the masjid in a different community that I was involved with, and he said something that was very unique. He says, Ahmed, you're doing it all wrong. This is what he said to me, you're doing it all wrong. He said, he came in the country in the 70s. In the 70s when I came, I would go to MSA versus MSA, because MSA was started at the University of Illinois in Champaign. So MSAs were very common in the 70s in Illinois. And I would give a different halakat to the leaders. And true development is by giving it to the leadership. And he's saying this format needs to work right now. All you're doing is making the kids feel good. Okay? What's wrong with that statement is, when I graduated high school, I graduated in 2000, there were a couple of kids that came out to be homosexuals. But it was embarrassing for them. They had to hide it. Right now, it's celebrated. I, who have been teaching youth for almost 10 years now, I have adapted to the different fitnas that are going on in the community because I'm on the ground. This man is talking about the 70s and saying that that's how it works. No, it doesn't work that way. It changed. It changed from 10 years ago. You're talking about 40 years ago. Don't ever think, and I think this is the problem with us, our biggest enemies are our egos, our nafs, to think that we know it all. You can memorize a lot of hadith, you can memorize the entire Quran, but you have to work on the ground because it shapes the way we think. So I don't know, I'm saying as a community level, you as part of the masjid, the leadership, it's a collective effort. And if you as a board, not a board member, as just a regular member, if you see something, all you can do is advise the leadership. And if they don't agree with you, you did your part, alhamdulillah. And you pray for your leadership to make the proper decision. It's not easy, but it's something that I recommend. And the reason why I said it to the sheikh is every community I go to, I mention it. And there's only a handful, I would say, out of the communities I know, maybe 5 out of throughout the United States that I've traveled to, that I've seen, have a youth director. Out of maybe I've been to over 100, 200 masjids. So it's very few. So I just want to put that point across, is that it's something that we desperately need, I think. And I pray for your community, inshallah.
Any more comment? Brother Muhammad, you want to say something about Brother Abu Khair? Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, I just want to highlight the point that the brother mentioned. SubhanAllah, back in the late 70s, the early 80s, when we had the MSA, we had the East Zone Conference. and we have a youth organizations going all over the place, United States, and they came to the conference, and for the first time we said we're going to have a lecture, a session given by the youth. Give them freedom to speak. Wallahi, to everybody's surprise, I still have it in the video. The youth open up, they have drugs, alcohol, all kinds of problems you think of, and this even the children of what you think, they are the top leader, the sons of the big dua and all that. And people wanted to take the copy from me. I said, no, I'm not going to expose them. Everybody say, you know what it is. So what he's saying is right, really. We think that the youth are angels. They are not. You get to come down. And the key point that he mentioned here, the fundamental thing is the parents, and you have to take that child to be your brother, your son. You love him, you be with him, you do everything with him. He would not, when you go to the masjid, he would love to come to you. He will be able to do that. But this is what we fail, really, to know how to raise a family. Everybody, in every place they teach the parents how to raise the children. We only raise the children then after the children becomes 30. Now we start to know how can we raise the children. It's too late. That is the very key point. The parents should really learn how to raise children and family and how to be with them. I myself from that problem, to be honest with you. When I was older, my son would go play with the neighbor and he's not playing with me because I didn't have time. I'm going to the masjid, I'm going to a meeting, I'm going to this. It's something we have to make sure that we have time for our family and be close to them. Yes.
Any more comments?
Brother Ahmed already touched a part of my comment as a collective work between family, parents, and the Islamic Center or Youth Center. But I believe there's a gap in understand the responsibilities by the parents and the Islamic Center or the Youth Center. Parents with their kids once a week, they expect to get, like shuyukh or scholars and so on. The parents maybe do something during the week, maybe sometimes they do nothing. So I would like to just, if there's any advice for both sides, as administrator and Islamic centers or youth centers, and another side for the parents, how they can narrow that gap, and build a bridge to narrow the gap, to work together to raise those kids.
I can say a couple things. Okay, there's a lot of things going on in my mind right now. Sometimes the parents are the problem. So the masjid, I look at it as a spiritual hospital. The hospital wants to take care of the sick people, and that's how they make a living. That's how the hospital survives. The masjid, when you guys have the responsibility of the masjid, is something that you guys need to be aware of, is that we need to tend to the people that need our help the most. And I can tell you right now, the youth that I've dealt with, a lot of what you can see their parents are destructive to their kids. They make fun of their kids. One kid I told you about, he's got accepted to Baina. He got accepted 3 years ago. His dad said, no, he'll never go. He's 22 now. There's like, do what you want now. You're old enough. We collectively as a message have to understand that, you know what? There are youth there that need our help. And that the parents need help too, but they're too prideful to come. You as the masjid need to understand how are we going to tackle this. Because if we say, you know what, we're going to put it underneath the carpet, guess what? We're all going to trip over it as a community. Now the ones that are coming to the masjid with their kids, that's different. There needs to be open dialogue with the parents to come and say collectively what needs to happen. Now I don't know the brother with blue shirt, Michelle, you made the right point. I'm going to lead by example. I'm obsessed with my phone too. So collectively as a family, when we get together, we're going to lead by example. So collectively, the parents should come to the masjid with their kids, maybe have another program for the parents, and as they're learning things, they can take that back home and collectively do it as a family. But to be honest with you, I think we being at Irvine right now, or ICOI, one of the questions some of the young organizers that I deal with, They were saying, you know what, these parents drop off their kids and expect us to babysit them. This is what they were saying to me. Wallah, you know what? It's actually funny. Because when I was in Chicago, we would go during Tarawih Salah after and tell the parents, drop off your kids. We want to service them. We would say, we want to babysit your kids. Drop them off. Now keep in mind, our masjid had organizers that had been in the masjid, that were raised in the masjid for 5-6 years. They were willing to take on that task. So I'm not sure where you guys are at. But ultimately, you need to really understand that there is a community out there that are far away from Islam, their parents are far away from Islam. You as a community, how are you going to address those issues? Because it needs to be addressed. Second point, keep on working in development with the parents. And I'm going to be honest with you, some of those youth were asking me questions about 2 hours ago. And one of the youth asked me, it's not haram to smoke. You know, it says it's haram on the pack. The pack, it says it's haram. It says causes cancer. That in itself says it's haram. And then someone told me some of the parents, even in this camp, are smoking. Even when I walked today, yesterday night, I came, they were doing hookah. Avina, right? Well, I'm not judging them. I actually think it's beautiful that they can do those things because they're coming to the right place to get help. That's good. But even they're teaching their kids that there's something wrong with it. So that tells me the parents need development as well. So if these guys are measured goers, address those issues. If you look at all the prophets, alayhim salam, they didn't have a huge fan club. They were very hated because they would tackle the issues that were happening with their community. They would attack it. And that's what I think we, as people that are speakers or whatever, the truth, sometimes, I'm not saying you, I'm sure it's not, but there's sometimes speakers are afraid to address those issues. No, address those issues because they are. Do it in a positive way. Do it in a very warming and welcoming way. Do it in public so no one feels they're being criticized. But we need to tackle this issue. The parents need to learn as well as the kids need to learn, and they need to be collectively together. I'm not sure if that answers your question, but that's the best answer I can give you, inshallah. That's all it.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Ahmed, mashallah, it's a very rich and very important subject. We really, each camp, each gathering, we have to try to tackle this and make sure that we going in the right path. If we missing something or if we neglecting something, we have to, make sure to fix it and stuff like this. And that's the way, inshallah, our community will become stronger and our kids will become in the right direction. With this, we, inshallah, conclude. Hamdy will say something, then we conclude, inshallah.
جزاه الله خير أخونا أحمد ربنا يبارك فيه. We need a lot of youth leaders to work with the youth. How many youth we have? How many youth outside now in the camp? How if we have, for example, now youth leader, Brother Ahmed Mustafa, he moved from Irvine and he came, for example, to Michigan and he came to Hatrona. And we said, Brother Ahmed, you will be the youth leader for our community. How we can deal with those, all of those? How? Do you have a plan to deal with all number of them? All of them? I want to highlight one point that's mentioned in the Quran. Sometimes we do not focus these points. لما أراد موسى عليه السلام أن يخرج ببني إسرائيل وهو القائد وهو النبي، ولكن حتى ينظم العمل وزع المسؤوليات فقسمهم 12 أسباطا أمم 12 فرقة وجعل لكل فرقة قائد. ولما عقد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بيعة العقبة الثانية، بيعة العقبة الأولى كان العدد بسيط، العقبة الثانية كان العدد in the second covenant in the 13th year of Hijrah بيعة العقبة الثانية. Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم he has with him about 70 plus people. They have covenant, they have bay'ah, they have pledged with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu to serve the deen of Allah. But how we can give you this number now? Distributed the responsibility, but under his leadership. He has something. Now how many? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu hired 12 naqib. 12 naqib. Under his leadership. And when they moved to Al-Madinah, they said, we need, let's use, yes, you are our leader there, but we need local leader in Al-Madinah. Then Prophet Muhammad sallallahu he said with them, Mus'ab ibn Umar. Mus'ab is the top, the leader, then 12 working. Everyone has how many with them? 6. Which is now, alhamdulillah, we have many organizations. This topics we talk about long time. We talk about many people, they try to find a solution. And also mass organization, they try to work especially with youth, mass. And also they have this halaqat, because you can't just do that's general education in the masjid that will raise them. We need someone to sit down with this number and listen to all of them and the secrets for everyone and the capital to each one. By this way, we can solve this problem. But generally, yes, if we continue doing this, just Jum'ah, Friday, khutbah, or lecture or so, by this way, you are not going to know what is happening unless we have some leaders. Under the leadership of youth leader, yes, we need youth leader and we need helpers to be with him. And all of them, they have to be role models. As brother mentioned, if someone is smoking now, how we can answer the youth if they ask you what is smoking, how you can answer? It's difficult. The people, they are doing mistakes in front of the youth, they will make our job very difficult. But if you are helping us, all of us will make the job, inshallah, easier. Jazakumullah khair.
Jazakumullah khair, brothers. Inshallah, I believe we can continue in the future, inshallah, to build in this, so we don't start, next time we don't start from where we, start over again and start from the beginning. We start from where we finish now, inshallah. That it's very important to have a youth director who taking care of our youth in the way the Prophet ﷺ did it before. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to be sincere and to ask Him all the time to guide us to the right path. To ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to write us. Allahumma ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qulubana ala dinik. Allahumma ahdina wahdi bina waj'alna sababan liman ihtada. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت ولي ومولاها وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. وجزاكم الله خيرا.